Welcome back to the PeriodGiving Podcast. In today's episode, we are going a little deeper into the quiet courage, the bold creativity, and the everyday actions that shape the menstrual justice movement. I am Lisa Marie Kawea, your host, and this podcast is part of the PeriodGiving Collective, a space where generosity leads and stories carry power. Today's guest reminds us that even the smallest acts can create the biggest shifts. Let's listen in. This is season 1, How to Period Give. Let's learn together, laugh a little, and even disrupt a whole lot. This is episode 2, Feminist Period Giving. We have Helena Sakisa, a proud justice mover and definitely a period giver. Helena, we are happy to have you here on the PeriodGiving Podcast. Please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Helena Sakisa. I serve at Femme Forte Uganda. It's a feminist organization. I also take my time and give my time and volunteer with Dwana Initiative, and basically in the area of the period giving. And I am also passionate about so many things, but basically things are concerning a woman or women. And I look forward to having this conversation about the feminist period giving and what it entails and how actually the little or small things that we think they may be really amount to a whole lot, to a person, to a woman menstruating, to a girl menstruating, or anyone in the public, especially women. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Helena, for introducing yourself. And for those that don't know Dwana Initiative, Dwana Initiative is an organization that I serve at, and I am privileged to lead the team. So Helena is one of the volunteers that serves at Dwana, which means my voice. And one of the heartbeats that we have is that we would love girls to have access to education without any barriers affecting them or limiting them to their education. And one of the biggest barriers that we work around is menstruation or menstrual injustices, really. And Helena has been a strong advocate and also a really passionate volunteer with our organization in the area of period giving. And I'm so happy and delighted that she's here on the podcast to just share. Helena, we want to know, how did this all happen? How did you first period give? How was your first experience? What drew you into this space to period give?
To me, I think what drew me basically to period give was the stereotype or the stigma that is associated with periods. And this stems right from the schools we go to, the schools I went. I remember it's a funny thing, but I told God I did not want to have my periods in primary. Why? Because I had seen multiple girls being stigmatized by their fellow girls. Someone, we know that someone has started their periods and is like, no, I won't sit with her. I won't maybe share my anything with her because she is menstruating or she has started her periods or she's dirty, such stuff. And it's a heart in me to really think like, okay, so even in the little things that I do that maybe I show a negative response about someone who is menstruating or in her periods is something that will affect them in a way or the other. So I told myself I will be a bit kind to any woman who's menstruating and not pinpoint and I'm like she's dirty or her dress is messed up. Yeah. And through that, I believe it really shaped me, and also conversations that I had with my mom about periods. I basically had the first like my first period experience was the best. I think I always tell people that mine was with love, because I remember beginning my periods in senior two on Valentine's Day, and
Oh, wow.
and I had seen like multiple stories about periods, but also had conversations with my mom about how to clean up myself, how to what. So I used to carry a pad. There's a bag that my mom had put together for me to carry, like an extra pad. She'll tell me anything can happen because now you're in that age of periods coming anytime. So I remember this on Valentine's Day. I am in class seated and I just feel something hot coming out in between my thighs, and I'm like, what is this? So I go to the toilet and I'm like, it's periods. I didn't cry, but I was just so happy, like, oh my god, I've begun my periods on Valentine's Day. And I remember going to the dormitory to clean up myself, and it gave me a feeling. I remember I actually called my mom one time,
Mm-hmm.
like, Mommy, I have begun my periods. My mom sent me one cake, and she's like, oh, so it was like periods is a good thing. But
Oh, wow.
but why, yeah, but why have people like been stigmatizing it, saying it's bad, it's dirty? So through that, it's something that sparked my me to giving kindness first. First thing I took.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think we, from just what you shared, we can definitely change the episode's name to Helena's Love Letter, Red Love Letter, because really starting your periods on Valentine's Day is something. And starting it because you shared that you started it with love, and and your mom had a really amazing role that she played. She prepped you through it. You were able to recognize and see the stigma that's around menstruation, but also this whole period, and you were able to receive it and make sure that you show yourself when you in the time that you step into this phase of your life, you are ready to receive it with love, and it came on a love day. So really, I'm about to change this episode to to Helena's love letter, red love letter, so that it can match your story, because not everyone has the same experience that you did. But anyway, um talking about the role that women play, I would like to know from your perspective, what does feminist period giving look like in your world? And what makes it deeply political and not just personal?
Feminist period giving in my world is grounded in so many things. First, since kindness was the first step I took in this period giving journey, but also dignity, shared leadership, and community power. I believe feminist period giving looks like that to me. But also going back to how I have volunteered my time during Dwana, I feel feminist spirit giving is when women sit together and they share their first period experiences. They're very unique.
Yeah.
And at my workplace at Femme Forte, we are doing a book, and I remember in this book, we were speaking about our first uh, periods, and there were very many stories from my fellow colleagues, and then I saw the beauty that actually us having a safe space to share this conversation without shame is a sisterhood. So feminist period giving would also look at it being as a sisterhood, but also for the girls having a privilege to make decisions about their needs, from which pad would I use or which reusable options would I use, to them being involved in this designing of safe spaces where they actually go to clean themselves during their periods. And for me, to conclude and sum it up all about feminist period giving in my world, I feel feminist period giving rejects charity. Many often times that I've seen people say come up with drives of giving. Of course, they are giving, but some of them have this ideology of charity. Is
Mm.
it that? But feminist period giving rejects it because you giving you doing a period giving activity. It's not a charity activity, but it's an act of solidarity. It's
Yeah.
an act of resistance, and
Yes.
it's also an of reminding us that menstruation is not a problem to fix, but it's a power to honor.
Yes. I like what you just
And
shared. It's not a problem
mm,
to fix, but
it's a
a
power
power
to
to
honor.
honor. That's amazing. That is so, so strong. It needs to be on a banner. On a banner somewhere, Helena, I'm telling you. This is nice. I like having these conversations because it really taps into an energy, especially with women. But also, I know I'll have the opportunity to have these conversations with men to pick their perspectives, because at the end of the day, if we're tapping into gender equality, we need all the voices. So I just like that, and I'm using that when we're putting out the episode. We are definitely using that. That whoever is listening in, I would just also like to know, Helena, you're talking about creating spaces with the ladies, with the girls, with those that ministrate. And I would like to know, how do you build menstrual justice systems with people and not for them?
I feel the first step actually is co-creating programs with ministrators, and the ministrators are we, the women and girls,
Yes.
and not just bringing ready-made solutions to them and we're like, we have made you pads, we have made you this.
Mm.
Because I was actually asking myself some time back that do 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 these sanitary pad companies actually do like come to maybe a community and they're like, have you used this pad? How are the oral pads to you? Because I feel during our conversations as women,
Mm.
each woman has a different story about each menstrual product they have used. We
Yeah.
have often seen some women who say, oh, sheer pads burn me.
Yeah.
Another would say, oh, oral pads give me a
All right.
rash. Another would say, they are okay with me. I feel like oral pads are okay with me. So I feel, well, uh, oh, mm, companies are coming up with products, menstrual products, and they have to actually look at co-creating programs with the women who are menstruating. But
Great.
also,
Mhm.
I feel like if we want to build a good menstrual justice system, we should actually not look at period giving as a project,
Mm.
because projects get done. Projects are done for just a short time, and they outlive their purpose.
Yes,
But why?
I'm snapping. All these flowers are for you. Preach, please preach.
But why not take period giving as a political commitment?
Yes.
You know, a commitment you're making because it is creating change, it's giving access, but it's also recognizing the urgency
Mm.
of this particular problem.
Yeah.
So, a menstrual justice system for people means that you are co creating programs with them, but also you are making a political commitment. And I wanted to say that we have often learned that when communities design their own period stations or
Yeah.
pick up their products of references or start up a period making collective, the impact lasts longer than and grows deeper than just having period giving as a project. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Helena, for that, and for highlighting period giving for an everyday thing, not just a project, not just for a season, not just for a day. Because we all know recently we had the menstrual hygiene day, and that's when all people come out to talk about periods, to talk about the system, the policies, the ways of life, everything period. Then after that they go silent. But Helena just shared that we need to talk about and to take period giving as a political commitment, something that is with us every day, that we commit actions and we are committed to make sure that people have access, they have safe spaces, they have a voice in this space, and that it is not a condemnation to bleed because it's a biological factor or a biological thing that happens to women, which should be normal. It shouldn't be stigmatized, it shouldn't be shameful, it shouldn't be we shouldn't be having, I don't know, stories about girls using mud, you know, and all that, and hiding away or staying or locking themselves in rooms because they are having their period. So I like that. Thank you so much, Helena, for talking about and advocating that menstrual justice and period giving should be a political commitment. And just talking about that, as we are still and we have really entered this feminist space, in your feminist period giving, Helena, what do you give the most? Do you give your time? Do you give your money? Do you give your voice? And what's the cost and reward system on your end?
Oh, most of my period giving work has been with Dwana Initiative, but also partly with Femme Forte, where I work with. So Femme Forte, I would like to just speak a little about how Femme Forte does period giving. So Femme Forte has a project called Stand Up for SRHR. So it has Femme Forte clubs in different schools in West Nile and also in Eastern Uganda. So during this time, we go to the field, we go to speak to these children or these girls, and sometimes with these boys. And then for me, the most interesting part is when you're actually having very honest conversation with the students, and you see that they are speaking their experiences with menstruation, but also they are speaking their stories of how menstruation has laid out for them a foundation, maybe negatively or positively. And so through that, I feel satisfied that I am listening to people,
Yeah.
having time, uh, giving my time, just listening and giving my voice to speak to them. And also, I have done most of it also with Dwana Initiative. Oh, Dwana Initiative. One,
Okay,
one of
I'm
the
listening.
one of the most things during giving my time with you with Dwana Initiative is the time when we were doing the menstrual justice campaign in 2023, and we go to the school of with children with disability, and just giving them the 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 the, the, the canvases to shed. I remember there was one girl, she was she was dumb, she would not, so she was trying to shed, and then when she saw the thing of a pad, she illustrated to me that it is the one that they put on after, like put it on a neck and then they put on, and then she you know, it was something that lit my heart, lit my face, made me happy, gave me fulfillment,
Yeah.
because I was like, wow, I am getting to actually recognize, I'm getting to actually um, work with people who are left out, because many times we are talking about period giving, menstrual justice, but we do not actually have the inclusion part of it.
Yeah.
I rarely see people speak about people with disabilities during period giving, and
Yes.
I think something that I want to thank Dwana for doing during the menstrual justice campaign. It was something that really left a tattoo on my heart.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's nice to hear this. You know, when you're having a conversation with someone you work with, and you happen to lead the team that they give their time to, and they're just sharing all of this. I just have all these butterflies in my stomach. They're just flying and floating around as Helena is sharing about all of this. And thank you so much, Helena, definitely for giving your time to Dwana initiative here in Uganda. So thank you. And we're going on to the last question, because definitely
And
we've
Lisa,
yes, please.
I remember you had asked me what makes feminist period giving political and not personal. I've just
Yeah.
and I think I didn't answer it.
Okay. You want to go on to and you can please share, definitely.
Yes, I want to share something. And for me, what makes feminist period giving political and not just personal, it deeply comes when we recognize who bleeds and how they are treated and why their needs are ignored.
Hmm.
And also looking at, for me, basically the moment the feminist period giving became political when we went to Noya with
Yeah.
also still Dwana.
Yeah.
And I
Okay.
remember this one time a girl whispered to me and
Yeah.
said, I skip school when I am in my periods because my teacher said we should be clean to come to class. To
Yeah.
me, this felt not just about personal hygiene, it was a systematic stigma that had been weaponized to this girl. And while having this conversation with the various questions you have asked me, I felt like menstrual justice is tied to also broader political questions.
Yeah.
Why do I say this? Because there are some questions I feel policymakers, activists, governments, and non-government organizations should be asking themselves.
Hmm.
One, why are menstrual products still taxed or absent from national health budgets?
Yeah.
And then second, why are sanitation facilities in schools designed without consultation?
Hmm.
And then also three, why are menstruating bodies still taboo, seen as a taboo in policy spaces?
Hmm.
And I feel like even when we have, let me say, when we have affirmative action that is making women progress, I feel like with these three questions, we should sit back and think, because feminist period giving demands we disrupt this silence, challenge these institutions that are responsible, and also push for state accountability.
Wow.
And why am I sorry?
Yes.
And where am I saying this is because periods are part of everyday life, and so they must be part of everyday policy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she just shared it. Helena just shared that periods are part of everyday life. Women bleed, girls bleed. And if they're part of us and they're part of our everyday life, then they should be part of our everyday policies. Thank you so much for that. I know that she has left us with three questions that really show how periods are deeply political. And I'm hoping as you're listening to this podcast, you're able to reflect, but also see how political this space is. So, to our very last question, as we are coming to the end of this podcast, if you are to finish this sentence, Helena, hmm?
Yeah. Mm.
Feminist Giving was a playlist. The first song would be,
Rise Up by Andra Day.
oh, wow. Thank you, thank you so much, Helena, for being part of episode 2, the Period Giving Podcast. And you have been such a bucket of wisdom. Thank you so much, Helena, for sharing your passion, your advocacy on this space, but also for being a period giving champion. in Uganda, but across the world too. So I'm hoping if you would like to reach out to Helena, how can they reach out to you? And in case someone needs to have more questions to involve you in more conversations similar to this, how can they reach you?
Oh, on my email, can I give them my email?
Definitely.
So lowercase Helena Sakisa, no space, 25 at gmail.com. And then for my number is 078 72 156.
Okay. Thank you so much, Helena. Maybe you can share your LinkedIn, the name you're using on LinkedIn, or maybe any socials that you'd like to share so that if they would like to reach you on your socials, then they can reach you on your socials.
On LinkedIn, I use Sakisa Helena. And on Twitter, I use Sakisa Hellena.
Great. Thank you, Helena, for period giving and for being part of this episode. And that's it for today's episode of Period Giving, where we celebrate generosity as a tool for justice. If you loved this episode, share it with someone doing quite powerful and amazing work in your community, in your space, at work, where you're walking, where you're going to the gym, where you are bleeding. I mean, everywhere. Tag us at Period Giving on Instagram. We are soon getting on Twitter, but we are definitely on LinkedIn. And use the hashtag Period Giving to keep the conversation going. If you're having a period giving activity, tag us. We will highlight you. We will definitely amplify your work. Remember, giving is powerful, giving is political, giving is personal. And in this movement, giving is how we win. Catch you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.